finals. Hello guys, it's 899 here and welcome to today's video where today we're going to be looking into tips and predictions for week 1 of the NRL finals. Some teams are going to advance straight to the prelim final, the grand final qualifier essentially, and some seasons are about to end. Which ones though? Let's find out. We're going to go into the first match here, and on Friday night it is the Penrith Panthers up against the Sydney Roosters. Now, big news for Penrith, Nathan Cleary is back from his shoulder injury. So, also Penrith were able to get the job done against the Titans in a bit of a close game, and the Roosters were able to get the job done over their rivals in South Sydney, despite having about 3 or 4 players have their seasons ended. But it's going to be an interesting one to say the very least, because it's obviously a match. Penrith win, go straight to a prelim final, and the loser of this match will face either the Canterbury Bulldogs or the Manly Seagulls. Now, so pretty much that we're going to have an all-Sydney affair in a semi-final, which is going to be a little bit tasty, a little bit spicy, depending on who it is. There could either be a potential scenario where it's old Panthers versus new Panthers, which is going to be cool. But anyways, in terms of this match, there's a lot of arguments you can make for both sides and who is going to win, but I'm going to say I think Penrith will get the job done, and I think they will beat the Roosters. Now we move on to the games on Saturday, and the first one up is another qualifying final. It is the Melbourne Storm against the Cronulla Sharks. Now, Melbourne obviously minor premiers. What a season they've had. Also in team news, Ryan Papenhuyzen is back in for them, so they're getting better and better now heading into the finals. Cronulla, I think, has actually also done well. I mean, they have had points where like hiccups of like some performances not being great, but you know, they're still in the top 4, so they've obviously been doing stuff right. So I think it's interesting, obviously. And then you had the Cronulla Sharks earlier on in the year actually beating Melbourne in Melbourne, so there's a possibility that could happen again, and the Sharks go straight to a prelim final, which in my opinion, kind of nuts to think about, but that is it is really interesting. But I just think with the way Storm are going at the moment, their momentum with their 4th-string team, Papenhuyzen coming back, I have to tip the Storm to take the win there. And we just will see the Sharks play either the Cowboys or the Knights. Now we move on to the final game on Saturday, and it is one of the first elimination finals. It is the North Queensland Cowboys up against the Newcastle Knights. North Queensland, you know, sealed that home final when they beat the Bulldogs. They belted the Bulldogs quite well there. And the Newcastle Knights qualified for the finals after beating the Dolphins and had a considerable amount of results making it through. So yeah, there's been a bit of a little bit of bad blood, to say at the very least. Adam O'Brien has come out and said that he believes the Knights are more battle-hardened for this match, and did make a little bit of a sly jab about saying that he doesn't think the Cowboys are in the same boat of them not being prepared. Basically, the justification of this is that the Cowboys' last couple of games have been beltings, while the Knights have had their season on the line for the last couple of weeks, so it's sort of a mentality thing. And I have listened to the full quote, and I do think it's been taken a little bit out of context, but I do also see how a fair amount of Cowboy fans have interpreted this as calling them soft. Cowboys coach Todd Payton's come out and says he wants there to be a cauldron for the match, obviously, because like similar to how the Knights and the Warriors had their sort of cauldrons in their home finals, and he wants it to be a hostile environment. With being North Queensland and with youth crime at the moment, is not that hard. But in all seriousness, I genuinely think this is a game which is going to be really interesting to see, because both teams, head-to-head, it's been ridiculously, like, dead even. Obviously, the Knights haven't beaten North Queensland up there in about a decade, and we haven't beaten them at all since the new stadium's come in, so there's also that. But I need to say that genuinely, I don't understand why Cowboys fans think they're going to just absolutely sideswipe the Knights. Because here's the thing. The amount of times when people in elimination finals say if they finish like 5th and 6th and say, oh, we're going to just absolutely batter the other team, and then it turns into an absolute grueling contest, is actually pretty common. For example, I remember 2021 Newcastle Knights when they played Parramatta. Parramatta was 6th and the Knights were 7th. And all the Parramatta fans were saying, oh, the Knights are going to get belted. Parramatta only just about won the game with a bit of a controversial try with about 4 minutes to go. And then, of course, 2023 Newcastle Knights, when they had that 10 streak, and they were 5th, and they would take on the Raiders, who just snuck into the finals, and everyone thought, oh, the Knights are going to pimp slapped them. And then the Knights had one of the hardest matches they've ever had, but still won, but it was very close. So I generally don't understand why Cowboys fans are saying it's going to be like, 13 plus them. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Now, when it comes to this match, and who I think will keep their season going, in my head, I do think it is going to be a closer affair, and I think it's going to be interesting. But here's the thing. You don't back against your team in the finals. And as a matter of fact, with the way this prediction is going, the Newcastle Knights will beat the North Queensland Cowboys, then take on Cronulla, which we've actually had close encounters with them, and then beat them. And then who are we playing in the prelim? What? Well, Penrith. Who? What do Penrith know about Matt Croker? What do they know about Brodie Jones? The Knights winning the fucking grand final, and that's you can put your goddamn money on that. So yeah, the Knights are winning this game. Put everything on it. Just put everything on it. Like, just don't think. Listen to your heart and gut. You know I'm right. I have not had a bad prediction at any point this year. And now we go to the Sunday match, final match of the round. And it is, of course, the other elimination final. It is the Canterbury Bulldogs against the Manly Seagulls. Now, obviously, both teams played not that long ago, and Manly got the job done in that match. But now, obviously, you got the Bulldogs. You got Stephen Crichton back. Addo Carr, I believe, is cleared now because there was an incident of apparently it's something like along those lines. But basically, that's the thing. But apparently he's been cleared. He doesn't have drugs in his system, so he's all good. But I don't know if he's actually in the selection for the match. I guess we're going to have to find out come Sunday. And the Manly Seagulls are going to welcome back Tom Trbojevic for this match. So it's going to be, generally, I could consider this match, out of any of them, of the four happening this weekend, I reckon this is the one that's most likely to go to extra time. And I think it's going to be a close encounter. And I think Manly will win. But yeah, you got to go bold. You got to go bold. It's finals. You got to go bold. You have to. You just have to. But anyways, that is going to be my predictions for week 1 of the NRL finals. Who do you have this week? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.